Well, hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the Love Machine podcast. We are the podcast that delves into the intricate web of relationships and guides you through the journey of self-discovery and personal growth. I'm your host, James Preece, and I'm thrilled to have you here today as we explore a topic that lies at the heart of every meaningful connection: authenticity. Have you ever wondered how to truly be your authentic self in your relationships, whether they're romantic, with your family, or just professionally? Well, you're in for a treat today. Our episode today is like a guiding light through the labyrinth of authenticity. And we have a remarkable guest who's here to help us navigate those paths of self-discovery and transformation. Joining us today is none other than Melissa Jirovec, and she is an identity mentor, authenticity coach, and consultant for women in business who deeply desire to live authentically, as well as radically own their individual path, style, and methods. Melissa guides her clients to find their true voice and fully express themselves in their life and work, building the trust and confidence that allow them to step into distinctive leadership roles, unique opportunities, and fully enjoy the fruits of their labor. As a former registered nurse and advocate for preventative medicine, personal development, and self-leadership, Melissa's aim is to ensure that on the path to success and more freedom, women do not lose themselves in the hustle, productivity, and noise of the world, but instead progress towards a lifestyle of liberation by self-honoring, self-resourcing, and having as much fun as possible every step of the way. So, my lovely listeners, get ready to embark on a voyage of self-discovery and empowerment. Whether you're seeking to deepen your romantic relationships, strengthen family bonds, or enhance your personal connections, this episode holds all the insights that you need. Melissa, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so thrilled to have you here. I did your introduction there in one go, more or less. Very wordy, because you have such a fantastic background. I wanted to get every little bit of that into the introduction. So how are things going with you today?
Things are fabulous. I've just moved into a new home, so I'm enjoying it and enjoying this new, fresh energy. And I'm excited to bring that to our conversation today.
Fantastic. I'm excited to hear all about this. So what, first of all, is an identity mentor?
Identity work is a really big part of personal development, and especially if you have a business or you're going after really big goals, it's really important, first and foremost, before you try to connect with anybody else, that you know who you are. And that can be a question that is very complex in our world today. Who am I? I find a lot of times what comes to mind if somebody asks you, who are you? You start to think about your job title. You start to think about your different beliefs on different things, your religion, your culture, your gender, a lot of these different aspects. But the kind of identity work that I do goes a little bit deeper than all that. It goes a little bit deeper than labels. It's more about, how am I showing up in my everyday life? What is it that I value? What is it that I feel is most important to me in this life? What is it that I want to live and experience? And at the core of this work, this is what directs our choices and our decisions, and ultimately what we're going to live.
Wow. Okay. And how did you get into this in the first place?
If you can try to picture this, I was a very shy, quiet, timid mouse of a girl for a long time. I had very poor self-worth, no confidence. I couldn't talk to strangers. This podcast would not have been happening with Melissa of the past. Didn't feel comfortable sharing an opinion, was constantly afraid of failure and criticism. Basically, I was living the should life. What should I do? And for me, I didn't really have the option to do this work because 9 years ago, my husband was in a very bad accident and suffered a traumatic brain injury. And all of a sudden, I'm his advocate, and I'm 23 years old, and I'm in charge of whether or not he's going to live or die. I'm in charge of his medical decisions. I'm in charge of everything. And so I had to use my voice. I had to be seen. I had to be heard. And over a very short period of time, I had to decide, if I was going to get uncomfortable so that I could be his best chance, or if I was going to keep fading kind of into the background and let somebody else take the torch. And I made the decision that I was going to step up for him.
Wow. How is he nowadays? Is he better?
Yes, he's made an amazing recovery. And we've now, he's living a full life. We've got 2 kids and the cats, and doing all the things. It's been a very big journey, but a very beautiful recovery.
I'm very pleased to hear that. That's always nice to hear on these podcasts. So how did you start to rediscover your own identity? How did you do that? And how do you help your clients do that?
For myself, I left my nursing career and I was at home taking care of my husband. I had some time on my hands and I had to kind of figure out what my next move is going to be. So for me, it started with reading books, reading personal development books, listening to podcasts, things that you guys are doing all the time, and kind of easing myself into this work. And I found that it wasn't enough for me. You can take in knowledge, but that doesn't mean you're going to use it. And so I started to put myself in new situations. I started going to networking events, which was terrifying for me. I started hosting online networking events when the pandemic hit. And now I'm in charge of these Zoom rooms and people connecting with each other. And, I would turn on my computer and I was shaking and terrified of saying the wrong thing. And these people are going to think I'm stupid. But it was practicing, putting myself out there, having conversations, being seen, being heard over time gave me the confidence where suddenly I wasn't shaking. Suddenly I was able to take a minute and listen to a question and answer it in the way that I wanted to answer, instead of kind of word vomiting an answer just to say something, right? It started to become much more intentional and much more on purpose. And then now, you can't shut me up because I love to talk.
Just as well.
And this process was so powerful for me that it kind of morphed into a business. I decided I want to work in personal development. And so I did a lot of different things, kind of tested the waters, explored different avenues of coaching. And eventually it became clear to me that the clients that were coming to me, they wanted to get out of jobs that they didn't like. They wanted to buy homes that felt like the right fit, but they didn't know how they were going to get there. They wanted to be in relationships that were healthy and where they had the level of where everybody is meeting themselves halfway and wants to invest time and energy in each other. And they wanted to have more authentic pieces to their lifestyle. And they didn't quite know how to get there. And that ended up becoming my area.
Amazing. So how long have you been doing this for? A few years?
3 years.
3 years. It's amazing how many people have started their business or rebooted their lives during the pandemic in particular. And it's an incredible thing. And so many coaches I speak to, because there's such a need for it now, isn't there? People are a little bit more lost, I think, than they were 3 or 4 years ago. So you must find yourself in demand now.
Absolutely. And there's only going to be an increased demand for us to start looking at who we want to be, as there's more and more technology and there's more and more distractions and there's more and more things on our plate. We're busier. And so this deep work, this identity work, reconnection work, it's going to become more and more important as things get louder on the inside and we can't quite hear what's going on the inside. Sorry, things are getting louder on the outside. We're not quite hearing what's going on the inside. No,
you're absolutely right. I think people are just lost and they need some guidance to sort of rediscover themselves, because life is very short. And if you're not being authentic and not living the life that you should be living, it's just a waste of time. And I say this to my clients as well, who are dating the wrong people or just wasting time with the wrong people or not dating at all. And it's quite a challenge. So what to you would you say is the definition of truly living an authentic life? And what are the signs that you are doing that?
There are a few different pieces to this. I think the first piece is knowing what you want. Okay. And with this, it's not knowing what you can get. It's knowing what you want, even if it feels out of reach. I think this is really important because a lot of times we settle for what we think we can get. We settle for what everybody else has going on because we're too afraid to say, I want this, and it might feel too much and it might feel extra and it might feel greedy to want something more. But if we can't be honest with ourselves and clear on what it is that we want, we can't have it. And then we're going to find ourselves in relationships, for example, that we don't want to be in because we haven't clearly identified what it is that we want in a relationship, or we haven't identified what it is we want to experience. What is it that I want to bring to the table? What is it I want them to bring to the table? So I think the first piece is just really getting clear on what it is you want and being honest that nothing is too much. Nothing is too extra. Nothing, it doesn't make you greedy to want a really amazing life experience.
What's the best way to you to be clear on this? Is it a vision board? Is it journaling? Is it writing things down? Just acting like you want to go and get what you want, or acting like you've got it already? What are your best tips for that?
I think it depends on what what's really important is that it creates an emotional response for you.
Yeah.
So for different people, that's going to look like different things. For some people, it's going to be making a list. If you're a list person, then making a list of what it is that you want and having that in your space where you can see it every day is going to be really powerful for you. For other people, it's imagery. Like, let me see that vision board with those pictures. I want to see those pictures. For other people, it's going to be, I need to experience it. So if, I don't know, going to the spa is something that's really important for me and my partner better be up for spa dates because that's something I love, then, you have to be going to the spa. Maybe, you're like, I don't have the finances right now. Maybe you're going once a month. Maybe you're buying your own spa products and having your spa night at home until, you have more financial resources. It has to be a part of your life. What you want has to be a part of your life. And that's the only way that other people, your tribe, your people, whether it's a partner, whether it's friends, whether it's clients, are going to be able to recognize that you're their people, is if you're living what it is that's most important to you. So for some people, it's going to be that embodiment work. So it really depends on what creates the emotional response for you. Is it when you're visualizing and you're lying like in your favorite accent chair and you're comfortable and your music's on and you're able to think about and imagine what it's going to be like when you're there? If that's what creates the emotional response for you, that's what you need to do. But you need to feel something. And I'm going to take you through an exercise real quick for a minute so that you can see what the difference is. If we sit here right now and I tell you, I'm grateful to be on this podcast, there's not really a feeling there. I've said it, I've expressed the gratitude, but there's not really a feeling there. But if I sit here and I take a minute and I think about a time when I was in a social setting and I wanted to say something and I didn't, and I really wanted to say something in conversation and I couldn't. And that memory pops into my head. And I can now think about that and think about this opportunity for me to speak my truth on this platform to your viewers. And I say, I'm so grateful. I can feel it in my chest. It's almost like a balloon. I can feel, or a flutter, like I can feel something in my chest. That's the gratitude. I'm feeling the gratitude. There has to be emotion. It's not enough to say it. It's not enough to go through the motions. You have to feel something, because we are beings who act on emotion. We decide things based on emotion. So we can use that to our advantage.
Do you think that men are still quite closed off when it comes to showing their emotions? Because I've discovered that some of my male clients, they're fine with me on a one-to-one basis, but in real life, they see it as a weakness. Of course, it's not, and that's why we're here today to discuss that. But how would you tell someone that finds it really hard to be open and to really, really let themselves feel? Because allowing yourself to feel any sort of emotion can be quite a tough thing to do sometimes, can't it?
Absolutely. And, despite how much things have changed in our society, what we don't really recognize is that beliefs and patterns and habits of behavior get passed on from generation to generation, even if things in society have changed. And so I've seen, couples in my friend circle where the little toddler is having kind of a fit and having big emotions, and dad is just kind of like, oh, okay, I need to do something. I need to like shut this down. I need to try to control it. I need to get the kid under control. Shh, you're fine. It's okay. Like, and it comes from this fear of like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of emotion and I don't know what to do about it. The first step is always to take a breath. Take a breath and look at how you're feeling in your body. Come back to the body always. This is something that women are very in tune with because we've got lots going on with our body on a monthly basis. We've got, we're having children. We have to be very in tune with our bodies. For men, I feel like this is something that's not as taught. Come back to your body. How does this feel in my body? How do I feel? Do I feel tense? Is what that person just said to me, do I feel tense? Do I feel anxious? Am I shaking my leg a lot? Like I can't sit still? Am I feeling tightness in my chest? Am I breathing a little bit more quickly? And when we come back to the body, we can come back to our feelings without having to think about feelings. Am I sad? Am I mad? Like that can be really overwhelming. But keep it simple, come back to the body. How does my body feel? Because my body is going to give me cues on what my emotions are. If I'm relaxed, my shoulders are going to be down. They're not going to be up by my ears. My body, I'm not going to be contracted inward. I'm going to be able to roll. I can roll my shoulders back and that's where they're sitting. My chin is up when I'm feeling confident and I'm feeling good. When I'm feeling kind of like I'm hiding, like I need to hide or uncomfortable, then my chin might be down because I'm retracting inward. So come back to the body. And that deep breath at first is going to allow you to kind of just ground and, anchor in. I'm here now. Okay. What's going on in my body? What am I feeling? And for different people will experience stress in different ways. When you can find your cues for when you don't feel good, and then your cues for when you do feel good, that's a great starting point. You don't have to put a label on it, on the emotion. You don't have to kind of get in. Do I feel good about this or do I not feel good about this? Do I feel good right now or do I not feel good right now? Start there. And that alone is going to be really powerful.
That is a great question to ask yourself. Because I think a lot of the time we go through life, got some aches and pains, I feel a bit nervous, I feel a bit tense. We forget the good days, how many good days that we have when we feel absolutely fine. We're not appreciating that. And I have it myself sometimes. I think, do you know what? I've not had a cold for ages and I've been absolutely fine. When you get a cold, it's the worst thing ever. I'm so tired. I'm so drawn out. What's going on? I think you're absolutely right. You've got to appreciate the good days and ask yourself and check in every single day how you feel, because that will bring you in touch with who you are, won't it? And bring in touch with your feelings and how you're seeing the world.
Absolutely. And it's going to shape what you're doing, right? Like if I'm not feeling good, okay, then I need to respond in some way. What's not making me feel good? What is it that's not working? Is it that I haven't met one of my basic needs and I need some sleep, or I need some water, or I need some healthy food? Or is it that I have been working and I need some social connection? I need some downtime. I need some rest. I need some fun, right? When we're tired, it's not always because we need to sleep. Sometimes it's because we need to do something to inspire ourselves. Sometimes it's because we need to have some fun or do something that makes us feel in awe and grateful and like, wow, and see what the big picture of life, right? So typically we tend to normalize aches and pains and stress and things not going well. But these are all indicators that something is not working. And when you can start to just bring it back to basics and back to the body and go, okay, something's not working, then you can troubleshoot. And when you can troubleshoot, then you can start fixing or adjusting or refining what's going on. And then you can feel really great. And when you feel really great, you do things different.
Yeah. How much of this is mindset, do you think?
Perspective is really important. Mindset is a very big piece. But what mindset misses is the connection to the body. And the thing is, the mind and the body, the brain and the body are connected. The mind and the body are connected. So you can do a lot of mindset work, and mindset work is super powerful, by the way. Like I'm a huge advocate of mindset work. However, if your body is in a place of crisis, if the body is very tense, very stressed, stress is really hard on the body. It doesn't have the nutrition it needs. It doesn't have the hydration it needs. It doesn't have the rest it needs. There's all this stuff going on in the body. Then the body is screaming SOS. SOS, emergency, things are not working. It's going to send that signal to the mind. What's the mind going to do? The mind's going to go, okay, we need to close some tabs on this computer. And we can only function on what like the most critical, crucial things are. And so no matter how much mindset work you do, if your body is in a state of SOS, your mind can't. It doesn't have capacity to do what it is you're trying to train it to do. And so the mind and the body have to work together. And when the body is not in a state of SOS, when it is in calm and relaxed, then the mind can do what it does best.
Is this where breath work comes into it as well?
Absolutely. So breath work is a tool that you can use to start regulating yourself. So when I'm talking about regulating yourself, our nervous system can go into two different states. We can be stressed, we can be relaxed. So when we are in a stressful state, our body, if you think about biologically, when we were cavemen, right, the stress was really necessary because when the man had to go get food, if there was a danger, he needed his system to do something. You needed to run, you needed to save your life. And then after the threat was gone, you needed to go back into a parasympathetic response where you're relaxed. All right, I'm okay again. I'm going to think about, what my next move is. Where's the next bit of food? What's the safest thing to do, etc. You couldn't make those decisions in a stress response. So you needed that stress and then relaxed and then stress and relaxed, and it worked. The problem is, again, times can change, but patterns and habits can stay the same. Now we've got so many stressors all the time, from when the phone rings, is it going to be, someone wanting me to pay for something, to, oh my gosh, this person's here and just them being here stresses me out. Like there's so many stressors that some people never go into a state of relaxation. They go from a state of high stress to medium stress to low stress to high stress to low stress to medium stress. They never fully relax. Problem there is that if you're not fully relaxing, you're not thinking clearly. You start operating subconsciously. You start doing things out of patterns and habits. So what breath work is it's a tool to help you switch your physical nervous system response from stressed to relaxed. And it can be done. You can do really simple practices that take a couple of minutes. You can do really extensive practices that allow you to release really big emotions or stored trauma, or there's some really deep work that you can do with breath work. But basically that's what it allows you to do, is it allows you to come back to a state of full function so that you can think clearly, so that your digestive system is not out of whack. Because when you're stressed, your digestive system is turned off. If you're trying to have a baby, as soon as you're stressed, the fertility gets turned low because that's not what's needed. So we want to be able to move into that relaxed response.
And by doing all this, you become the best version of yourself, become authentic, and you can live your life the way it's supposed to be. So would you be okay to give us a short demonstration, maybe a couple of minutes of a meditation or a breathing exercise? That would be really useful.
Absolutely. So what I'm going to ask you to do, if you're sitting, and you can, if you're lying down, that's fine. If you're sitting, I'm going to ask you to put your feet flat on the ground so that you're nice and grounded to the earth. I'm going to ask you to sit up tall and just roll your shoulders back twice, making sure that they are low and they're not up towards your ears. And then I'm going to have you close your eyes. And what we're going to do is we are going to do a practice called equal ratio breathing. This is a great practice that you can use. We're going to do it about 3 rounds. And this is something that you can use on the go. You can use it in the grocery store. You can use it at home just for a quick relaxation. Sometimes if somebody cuts me off in traffic, I will do this, in the car. Practice before you try that, but I will do this in the car to get that stress feeling out of my body. So you can close down your eyes. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by taking 2 natural breaths. A natural breath is a breath that goes in through the nose, through the chest, and into the belly. And you're going to fill the belly with air. And then you're going to notice as the air comes back up from the belly, through the chest, and out of the mouth with a sigh. And we're going to let it out with an audible sigh. Then we'll go into the equal ratio breathing practice, which is an inhale for a count of 5. And then we hold. So you hold the breath for a count of 5. Then we're going to exhale for a count of 5. And then we're going to hold for a count of 5. And we'll do that 3 times. So get comfortable. And we're going to start with our natural breath. I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath in through the nose, through the chest, past the ribs and into the belly, and let the belly expand with the breath. And back up from the belly, past the ribs, through the chest, and out of the mouth with a sigh. Deep breath in through the nose, through the chest, past the ribs, into the belly. Let the belly expand and back up past the ribs, through the chest, and out of the mouth with a sigh. And now, keep your eyes closed. We're going to go into our equal ratio practice. Deep breath in through the nose for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale out of the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold at the top for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale out of the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold at the bottom for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Deep inhale. Inhale the abundance. 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold the abundance in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale out of the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold in lack. Hold for a moment. 3, 2, 1. Now take a moment, keep your eyes closed, and just sit with that for a moment. Pay attention to the body. How does your body feel different from the beginning of your practice? How does it feel to sit in stillness for a moment? This is your time to just reconnect with yourself and relax and come back to the present moment. Come back to what matters. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes.
I feel very calm now for doing that. It feels strange to be on a podcast, closing my eyes and doing breathing, but I absolutely love it. I think I should pay you to come and do that for me every single day so I can relax. I feel a lot of the tension in my chest is gone now, which is great. The tension that everyone carries every day. And that was really very powerful. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. I put you on the spot a little bit there to do that, but you did it so well. I will move the microphone back towards my mouth a little bit now. I didn't want to breathe into it too heavily during exercise, but that's a very powerful thing to do. Are there any other sort of daily rituals that you do yourself every single day?
Absolutely. It's really important for me that if I'm going to be showing up in the way that I want to, that I have to set myself up to show up the way that I want to. Everybody's got their own things that makes them feel really good. For me, taking a walk in the morning is really important to me. I live in Northern Ontario, Canada, where we get a lot of snow, which means that in the summer and spring and fall, I need to be outside every single day because in the wintertime, I don't want to. So taking my walks, listening to certain music with certain lyrics, certain beats. That music is very, very powerful for me. Making sure that I'm drinking a lot of water, because I know that I really need a lot of water. I run around a lot between my business and my kids and my husband and everything. Basically, knowing what makes you feel good. When you feel good, you do good. When you feel good, you do more. When you feel good, things are more fun. Problems are more easily solved. Things are not as stressful. What is it that you can do in your everyday that's going to set you up to feel better? And not even just feel better, to feel great. That is the standard. Is it that you need to change your wardrobe so that you actually feel awesome in your wardrobe and not like blah? Is it that you need to change the decor in your home so that you're inspired by your space, so that even when you wake up in the morning, just that setup is there? What is it that you can do to feel great in your day and know that every time you support yourself in that way, it's less that you have to do because you're already creating a solid foundation?
I absolutely love that. Such great advice. I think so many people live the same day over and over again, wearing the same clothes, eating the same meals, seeing the same people, mixing things up, exploring, doing something a bit different, getting a new wardrobe, getting a haircut, having that spa day that you talked about. That's in my head now. I really want to go for a spa day. That's what I like to do with my wife, go for spa days. These sort of things. Live every day of your life with absolute full commitment, and do it for you, not to please somebody else as well. Melissa, I think we could talk for a very, very long time about this, but I know you're a very, very busy lady. So if someone wants to find out more about you directly, how do they do that?
Absolutely. The platform that I'm most active on is Instagram at Melissa Jirovec. You can always send me a message on there. I check that very regularly. You can also check out my website, melissajirovec.com, to read more about the work that I do and if it's a right fit for you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. It was absolutely wonderful. I know we'll speak again another time. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you so much for listening. I'd love to give you a free copy of my latest book, which you can download right now from my website, jamespreece.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, I'd really appreciate it if you could share the love by taking a few seconds to write a positive review on the iTunes store right now. See you next time.